Thank you.
Ms. Burrell, I'm going to ask that you come up to the podium. In this system, you get the last word. It's called the right of elocution. What would you like to tell me?
I had some time to think about it, but I didn't articulate everything the way that I should have. But to the Tillett family, I think the father had said he asked that I don't sell drugs no more. I believe that was his last statement. So I can answer that by saying that won't happen again. I hold myself accountable for the decisions that I made. I'm not saying it's okay, but I do believe we all make choices. And yes, I did play my part in it to a certain extent. But I pray for healing. I pray for forgiveness. Luke have always been in my prayers, actually, before he has passed. But with all this said, you know, I've learned a lot being in this situation. I do have regrets, and as a mother, as a parent, I do understand. My son is here as well, and I deal with a lot of struggles as well with him, so I do understand as a parent the things that we go through. And I have lost a family member to drugs, and that's pretty hard too. I do understand that as such too, but I'm asking for another chance because I am a good person, and I am not a monster, and I do have a heart, and I do care about my society. Yes, I made the wrong choice, but I can guarantee that that choice will not be made again. And I'll continue to pray for the family, for my family, and just for the things that's going on around the world.
All right. Well, let me start by saying to the families, the Tillets, to the Ronnies, to everyone I heard from today, and to those that are here, I'm so sorry. I certainly understand that both of you, or both families, have endured the worst loss that a parent, that a family can experience. And there's not possibly anything I can say that comes anywhere near to both the heart-wrenching and thoughtful comments that I've received this afternoon, other than to say thank you, and I'm sorry. As the lawyers here know, I have not been a judge, or I've only been a judge for a few years. I will say that in that short time, I've found that it doesn't do a whole lot of good to wag my finger at folks that are standing where you are, Ms. Burrell. I'll also note, I certainly understand and accept what Mr. Tudor has told me about the depth and extent of the opioid addiction and overdose problem that we have. But I need everyone here to understand, as a fundamental part of how our justice system works, is that the only thing that I can pass sentence on today are those two cases that are before me to be sentenced. And it is my intention to do so. And Ms. Burrell, while I mentioned that it does little good to wag my finger at somebody who is before me, I have to tell you I'm a little struck. When I read Ms. Wick's PSI, I was a little struck by something. I did read with interest the length and depths of the struggles that you've had in life. And I think it would be fair to say that in some ways you have been kicked from pillar to post as you've gone through life. And I do know that some of that, at least, is rooted in the fact that in your own family, in your own personal family, you've had a front row seat to the kind of battles and misery that addiction causes. And I have to admit that one of the thoughts that I have is that of all the people who would know and understand the kind of pain and misery that the sale of narcotics to an addict cause, that you would be someone who would understand that, maybe more than most of us. But I'm not naive, and I know that the need to get by, the need to make money, blinds us, makes us ignore a number of things. And the simple truth of the matter is that committing crimes creates a debt, and the punishment that I'm about to impose is, at least in part, its repayment. I acknowledge in making the decisions that I have to make in this case that the things that Riley Tillett quite eloquently put forward through his father today, I don't know that I disagree with any of them. There is a great paradox that judges face every day, and this case probably highlights it more than most. On the one hand, we must deal with the cases that are in front of us. I have to make a decision and impose the penalties that the law requires in a case like this. And at the same time, I think Riley Tillett points out the aggregate effects of the decisions that a whole bunch of judges in a whole bunch of cases make. I don't think they're mutually exclusive. Do I agree that we should treat addiction as a public health epidemic and that should be the focus of what society does? Yeah, I absolutely do. But I don't think that lets somebody who feeds that addiction off the hook. I guess my hope, Ms. Burrell, is sometime in the next years that you're in prison, that you can put the two things together. I guess I'd call it empathy. The ability to see that the things that you do in life do have, and in your case, have devastating impacts on others. I read a PSI that tells me that isn't where it should be with you. You didn't, and maybe couldn't, understand or wouldn't understand the impacts of what you were doing. But like it or not, you played a pivotal role in ripping two good young men from their families by, frankly, feeding them the same poison that works such hardship in your own life. And I just hope somewhere down the line you can figure that out and really see and understand that, because that's what you did. I'm going to sentence these cases in the order in which they occurred, as follows. Beverly Burrell, you have been found guilty of murder in the third degree, a violation of Minnesota Statute 609.195. I adjudge you guilty of that offense and sentence you to the custody of the Commissioner of Corrections for a period of 86 months. Against that sentence, you are entitled 491 days. I am fining you in the amount of $1,000, but suspending that fine in hope that if at some point there are resources available to you, that money would go to restitution first. This is a guideline sentence. I'll note that this sentence will be consecutive to the sentence I'm about to impose in 27 CR 16-13553. I'll note that the law provides that you must provide a DNA sample. You may not possess firearms, ammunition, or explosives. Turning then to 27 CR 16-13553. Again, you have been found guilty of a single count of murder in the third degree. I adjudge you guilty of that offense, and I commit you to the custody of the Commissioner of Corrections for a period of 86 months. Against that sentence, you receive no credit. a fine of $1,000 suspended, restitution in the amount of $9,524.30. I'll note this is a guideline sentence. This sentence is to be consecutive to the sentence imposed in 27 CR 16-18602. That is to say that this is a sentence of an aggregate sentence of 172 months. Again, you must provide a DNA sample, no possession of firearms, ammunition, or explosives. This sentence to be executed forthwith. Counsel, is there anything in these two sentencing orders that I have missed?
Not from the state.
Mr. Cascarano?
Did you ever get that restitution order?
Mr. Tudor, do you have the restitution order?
I do, may I approach?
You may. Counsel, do we have a scheduling order on, I guess, 27 CR 16-27585?
For December 8th. We had a trial date of December 18th.
All right. You'll writ?
Yes, Your Honor.
All right. With that, ma'am, I really do wish you the best of luck, and I'll see you in December. Consecutive, she gets credit on the first one and then starts the second sentence. Thank you.
This is just the sentence that he imposed, that's all. Just gotta sign it. Don't worry about it. That was restitution, that's crossed out. So is there restitution or no? Yeah, but don't worry about that.
All right, the court is in recess. Thank you.